last week on the show, I don't know, I don't know if this is last week or the other week, but several times now on the show, I have implied that Kate Middleton's absence from the public eye was due to a botched BBL surgery. I would like to take this time now to apologize and adequately convey how ashamed I feel about this because apparently she has cancer. And I know I should be ashamed because I have about 10 different articles from the media telling us that we should all be ashamed for speculating about the Princess of Wales. This is just here from just what I hope you all feel terrible now by Helen Lewis for The Atlantic. The
Nope.
real royal scandal is us by Pamela Paul for the New York Times.
No, it's not. This shit pissed me off so much because it's like, okay, they weren't acting like she had cancer.
They could have just said she had cancer. It's not illegal to take a picture in the hospital if you're doing chemo. Like, people do it all the fucking time.
Or to just tell people. The way they were acting, it was like she got a swastika tattooed on her forehead or her husband killed her. That's not our fault.
Like, one of the kids actually killed the other kid, like John Benet Ramsey.
Yeah.
And they have to pretend it's still alive.
and this isn't the thing that's going to make Kate Middleton have a nervous breakdown and cut her own head off. It's all the other stuff. It's how they.
Boy, I wish the royals would do that to themselves. Oh, it would save us so much time.
Yeah, cut her own head off. That's converting to Catholicism or marrying an Egyptian. That's when they cut your head off.
They made her take Ozempic while she was giving birth, so that she could still be the most beautiful woman in the world to the English. If she has a mental breakdown, it's their fault. It's not everyone else for reacting rationally to this.
And one more article here. This is by Jessica Bennett for the New York Times. The internet should feel shame over Kate Middleton. And then it says here, it's all good and fun until conspiracy theories begin to contaminate conversations about elections, healthcare, and climate, until they affect our perception of what's truth, until we realize just how profitable trading in them can become, until a part of us starts to believe them. It's not just journalism or social media that's the problem. It's that our brains are being hijacked. This is our entertainment now. It's how we find meaning. Being able to separate engagement farming from real information is only going to become harder. I'd like to take the lecture from the New York Times a notch down on conspiracy theories and misinformation, given their recent performance, not just this year, but their entire history. And it's just who do we extend this fucking this empathy parade for? Some rich woman who has cancer? I'm sorry for her family or whatever, but this is not the worst thing that's happening in the world. And I'm sorry, speculating over or having some fun at the expense of the royal family is not why this country doesn't have health care, and it's not why global warming is happening. And
I just hate it when a journalist writes an article that's lying is bad. Thanks for the fucking scoop there, Brenda Starr. Here's my invective against misinformation. Holy shit, you're the first one.
Now that we know what's true and what's not, and someone else figured it out for me, now I'm going to be smug about how I always knew what was true. And you guys were all stupid for falling for it.
I would rather read an article, a journalist writing about how bad they think misinformation is if you hired a general contractor to write an article a self-congratulatory article every day that's I don't put old clothes in my septic tank. That's bad to do. Okay.
Here's why you shouldn't flush socks down the toilet.
Yeah.
Also, it's so insane to act like the world needs to change and the world needs to stop coming up with conspiracy theories about this misinformation that we're putting out. You have a responsibility. If you're a PR person for the royal fucking family, you have a responsibility to observe reality as it exists and then give people the information that will stop that speculation. Because that's literally your job.
When the royal family puts out some bizarre photoshopped image to just be everything's fine, and then everyone notices that and has some fun about it, I don't think it's a shameful thing to be oh, she has cancer, how horrible of us. Our brains have been hijacked and hoodwinked by the disinformation machine that is the internet. It's fucking Buckingham Palace was the one doing misinformation here by pretending that this lady was she's just tired, it's fine.
Also, why do we have to worship these people who are all sick? and unhealthy. Like the king has cancer. She
They should
has
be listening
cancer.
to Andrew Huberman.
Like Biden has dementia.
Yeah.
Trump probably has dementia. It's like
And
at some
syphilis.
point, can we get some healthy, strong people who are leading us? Would that be too much to ask? Like, do we have to elevate the sickest, weakest people in society to the top and then be like, no, we have to let them tell us what to do. We have to, because they're so sick.
But ice cream is the only food that doesn't have histamines. Biden has to keep eating it or else he'll die.
When a Chinese emperor would like break his leg or something, they would melt him. Because they were like, okay, it's done. He's like lost the mandate of heaven. And they were right. They invented, gasoline as fuel 5,000 years ago. They were doing things right. We're doing everything wrong. Like Kate Middleton she's not going to kill herself because people were mean about this. Her life is already misery. Her parents only had her so she could get married to a guy who looks like a sort of like palette swapped Lamar Odom.
What a waste. What a waste to have that be your way to move up in society in the 2020s, to move from the gentry to the royal family. Is that going to exist in like 30 years? Is it like once Charles dies, are people going to let this still happen? If we're going through like a year of 4 emperors with the British royal family, and then it's going to end up with like a 3-year-old child king. How is that going to exist? Like, there's no way that exists by 2050.
There's decent odds for like there being a monarch who made her name on the USA Network. I think you just got to call it at this point. Like, we're done. No more of this.
Yeah, what's the point? We can't even see him or hear from him. They're too sick to do anything. None of them will come out in public. You can't take pictures of them. Okay, what are we paying them to do then? It's some guy in a house.
That's their only thing. Their only thing. Like all they do. Oh,
you wave to people. That's your job.
Yeah, we're opening a Tesco in this town. Will you come and cut the ribbon? Oh, I started a charity where I teach veterans who lost their arms how to do devil sticks. Okay, I'll cut the ribbon there. If you can't do that, okay, well, you know what? You're not a very good royal.
Time to work at Tesco then.
Yeah.
They're hiring.
It's like, oh, can King Charles come out, just like outside the gates of Buckingham Palace, like knocking dirt off your cap, just sort of, like twisting your foot in the gravel. Can he come out and wave to us, please? Can Kate Middleton not be dead? Can Kate Middleton not be a hologram, please? We want our royal family. But yeah, it's just I just like the fact that there's 5 different fucking articles telling everyone how ashamed they should be for laughing at this. It's just like there are real problems in the world. Grow up.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
care. I guess
it's great healthcare.
To have that much fucking cancer in one family would be. Was Buckingham Palace built over like a uranium mine or something?
Yeah, it's like it's hard not to conclude that this is like an explicitly dysgenic thing. That we're like we're trying to medically create the worst like genetic people we can. They just have only bad genes and only health problems, and then we elevate them. It's very strange. Like when the Spanish did that. The line died out.
Think about being Kate Middleton and William's kids. It's like your grandfather has cancer and those big hands, the big.
Oh, his sausage fingers are so disturbing. Ugh.
He has
the rings on his fucking fingers. They look like they're struggling.
Yeah, he has
hanging on for dear life.
He has a natural big foam number 1 hand. And
imagine getting the royal touch.
House of Saxe Gotha, number 1.
Imagine he exercised prima nocta and just finger blasted, and it ruined my wife's pussy.
Yeah, and knotted up like a dog. The fucking tips at club fingers. You can't trying to pull it out. It's like
think about how much cancer is in those kids' genes. That sucks. Your grandfather, your mom, your dad's bald. It's all like really unfortunate. It sucks. I feel bad for them.
Harry's the only one to escape this because he's not actually related to Charles. He's got a full head of hair. He's loving life in America. He's fucking having a great time over here.
I've warmed on Harry ever since like it really annoyed me when him and Megan McCain were like
Megan McArdle.
no
Megan the Stallion.
Megan the Stallion were like they were like we're going to do a podcast on mental health. When they started doing that, I was like shut the fuck up. But ever since they said they were going to do it and accepted the money for it and then never did it, that I completely reversed my opinion. I really liked how they did that.
Also, they objectively have better mental health than anyone else in that royal family. Because they're public figures and they go outside in public and do stuff.
Yeah. And again, like, where was all, like, remember the Prince Andrew interview? I mean, Netflix just made a fucking movie out of it. But, like, at what point does the royal family, like, lose any pretense of credibility? Like, another heir to the crown of England went on TV and said a doctor told him he had a condition where he can't sweat. And we're all just supposed to be like, oh, okay, normal. I think we should just leave this family alone. It's private. This is, we shouldn't take too much glory in the downfall of others. It's just like, no, like, these people are liars and also are reptiles, probably. I don't think it's cancer. I think there's just another egg is hatching.
And they're German.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not even English.
That is the biggest thing about all this. Whenever you look at them, it's like, were these really the best Germans you could find? You couldn't find anyone better in all of Germany?
Ludwig von Beethoven is not walking through that door.